All right, I don't know how much you can tell on my iPad, but there he is.
It looks close.
She was my model for Santa.
Hi, Bill. Welcome. We are just about ready to get started. And Roja, hi. Good to see you. Good to have you here with us.
We did get a few letters to Santa through our form last week. So we're going to look at the letters to Santa first, and then we're going to share some recommendations from the CTLA folks.
So our first one said, Dear Santa, an on-campus makerspace and our new media lab where all instructors can incorporate project-based learning and design thinking into their curriculum would be awesome. Just a small ask.
We suspect we know who wrote that. But my response to this was, it does absolutely sound awesome. And about a year ago, we were hoping that we would have a new media lab because the district had proposed money for each campus to get a new media lab where we could have student projects. But COVID. So I don't know where the budget is. I don't know if we'll see this. I don't know. That's a familiar answer right now. But what I was going to suggest to people is that new media lab, the one that's at Mesa, MCC, Eddie Webb started the new media lab, which I think kind of sparked that movement. They rely heavily on the Adobe products. So I was going to recommend to all of you that you can take this really easy 1-hour training, this Adobe Creative Educator Level 1, and honestly, it's an hour and it's just fun and you just get to make a graphic. You submit your graphic when you're finished and you get a badge. It's something to think about, and you also get to think through the process that you might have your students follow if you wanted to. What about you guys? I did have some curiosity. If we had such a thing, if we had a makerspace, if we had a new media lab, would you use it? Can you envision your students using it? I see a yes.
Hello, it's Zoila.
Hey, Zoila.
I teach Psych 101 and Psych 230, which is stats. I could see in my Psych 101 class, they do a film analysis project. And the honors students are required to create a 1 to 2 minute commercial using Animoto. And so for those students who might want to be even more creative and use different media setups, that could be really exciting.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the idea behind the new media lab was to get like professional equipment into the students' hands that they could use and try and experiment with their projects. So they'd have, professional cameras and microphones, and they'd have green screen set up, and they could do wherever their imagination took them.
I haven't taken this Adobe Creative Educator activity yet, but I thought, that's kind of a nice thing to put on my holiday break to-do list when I have a spare hour, maybe sit down and check out some of the things. I haven't used Spark before, but I've seen some things that have been created using Spark, and they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it's supposed to be a pretty easy learning curve.
Oh yeah, there's nothing to it, especially because I think that with the Creative Educator Level 1, they start you with Spark Post, which basically means you pick a template and then just change up the text and the images in it. So honestly, it's 1 hour and it's fun. And it could be something that you could have your students do an assignment in the spring with Spark, because it is a very shallow learning curve. It is not steep at all. Letter number 2.
Dear Santa, I would really love to have a little subscription to Padlet so that I can use them more often in my classes. The free account only lets you have 3. Merry Christmas.
And I thought, I'm not sure if this person actually went to our Padlet session that we had a couple of weeks ago, but on November 17th, we did have an LOL session on Padlet, and we had this discussion about, is it worth paying for it? Would you pay? Would you not pay? Because the free account only allows you to have 3 Padlets at a time. And just to remind people, that's actually N+3. If you had an existing Padlet account, whatever number you already had before they instituted this new structure, they give you that number +3. So I think I had 5 Padlets set up, and so now I have 8 available. So I can, get rid of some old ones and recycle them if I want to. The payment's not that much. I mean, it's $10 a month. If you pay month to month, it's going to be $120 a year, which sounds a little steep. If you pay for the whole year, it's $96, so about $8 a month. And if you don't want to start having those kind of subscriptions piling up, it might be something that your division or your discipline could pay for. If you have any fees attached to classes, $96 a year probably isn't all that much.
Dear Sent, letter number 3. I want to learn more HTML tips, don't we all?
Well, I don't know if that's what I dream of at night.
I would love to learn what accessories I can get to make my lectures resemble Khan Academy. A writing tool such as a pen instead of a mouse.
And I actually addressed this on 2 separate slides. So the first part said HTML tips, and the letter was kind of vague. I mean, that was literally the letter that somebody left. So what kind of HTML tips? Most of us, I'm assuming that the most we'd push our HTML is for using inside Canvas, for maybe prettying up our Canvas pages, so the content that we have in there. So I just Googled HTML tips, and this 10 most used HTML tags came up, and the link to that article is there. These actually, some of these are the ones I use, like the horizontal rule I used for a long time, although I think now they have something for that in the menu in Canvas. But these are the 10 most used. Frankly, the thing that I do most with HTML is I go to Google and search HTML color picker and select colors that I can use for backgrounds in tables, or that I can use for the frames in the tables in Canvas. So I think that's probably my most used HTML. Do you use any?
I don't really use any. I just adjust the embed codes within
Right,
HTML.
the numbers.
Yeah, as far as like making sure that
Size.
formatting as well
Right.
is good for whether it be slides or something else like that. But now the interplay between Canvas and HTML code is so beautiful. I don't really adjust as much anymore.
Right. Where the CTLA is concerned, Juliet is the evangelist for people learning HTML. And we have our CTLA recommendation slides a little later in the presentation, but I did include the link here on this slide. So when you're going through here, you can jump over to Juliet's slide to see what she recommends, or we'll get to it before we're done today. The second piece was, how do I make it look more like Khan Academy style videos? In Khan Academy, basically it's just pen casts. So if you get a smart pen like the Echo, then you can create those kinds of things. I've certainly done that in the past. Or these days, now you can do screencasts with some kind of a stylus or a pen on almost any sort of a device. So I just Googled, again, my help desk is Google. I Googled Khan Academy style videos and a whole bunch of these videos came up. So if you have some interest, then in this list, I made the links to these top 4 videos live. So you can just click on those links in this slide, or you could replicate my search and find a whole bunch of stuff. And basically that's what they're saying too. It depends on your device. It kind of depends on your tech savvy, but you can screencast what you are writing in a variety of different ways. So it probably takes some more homework on the individual's part. What is it that they want to do? So feel free to conduct your own search. You can use these links. And in one of them I was watching, they said OBS is the best thing. And OBS is Open Broadcaster Software. I think that's what it stands for, which we'll address in one of the last couple of letters that we have. So they were just saying a film editing software of some kind. You know, I personally use Camtasia, but OBS is free. So we'll get back to that, circle back around to that in a couple of minutes. I don't know. I frankly have never been all that interested in the Khan Academy style videos, but I don't know, what about you guys? Would you do that? Would you want to do something with that where you're endcasting or writing and having that recorded, or?
It's Zoila again. I, because of my stats courses, I had already started teaching a stats course online. So I don't actually like Khan Academy's
I'm not a big
statistics videos. They're pretty bad, to be honest.
Right.
So, I mean, I did my own lecture videos, but what I did is I did all the calculations using PowerPoint's equation editor, and then copied and pasted them as photos. And then I
did the
used
same
Google's
thing, but I did it with Word instead of PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And
And
just
then
take
I
a bunch
did
of
Google
screenshots.
Slides as my video format, I guess. And then just did a screencast of it. And so far, so good.
Right. That seems to work. Yeah, I've not quite bought into the mystique of Khan Academy, but some people really, really like it. So
I think
they must be doing something right.
I think it depends on the field. I mean, for art historians, because the images matter a lot, Khan Academy videos on art history are really well made, and they were before smart history, right? They weren't under Khan Academy, so they're very well documented. They have all of their sources. They have high quality images. Often these images are taken in the museums or in the sites. Historic sites, so it gives the scale, and I don't want to replicate that because I already use it as an educational resource for my students. So, but I do understand when they want to, like, my main issue using a screencast-o-matic is that how to give a balanced situation to my image and a slide, right? My own video and a slide.
Yes.
So I have an issue with where a screencast-o-matic places me, and I know I can change it, but often my slides are like larger, and I preferred if the screen was a split, right? There was half of it that was me, and half of it was the slide that I was showing, or something like that. But I know for other, I mean, I have heard it from many people that Khan Academy is not their favorite, but I think it's because of the differences we have in the field.
The disciplines, it could be. And I sent out an email this afternoon. I didn't do the Tech Tuesday today. Jen took over for me. But I did send a forwarded email today that TechSmith that makes Camtasia is having like a Cyber Monday sale still. So they're discounting their software. And I know that Camtasia can do the kinds of things that you're talking about. Probably OBS, but I don't know anything about OBS. So just, it might be worth looking into. Between the educator's discount and the 25% discount, it might be worth it. Okay, letter number 4, I think.
Dear Santa, I'd like to see a tablet comparison. Surface, iPad, Bamboo Touch, Pad, etc. A cameras comparison and a mic and headphone comparison. Can we have the college paying for Snagit or screencast-o-matic? I would also like OBS training.
And I decided I was going to deal with these sort of in reverse because my answer for the OBS training is the shortest. Basically, I don't know anything about it. So to address these in reverse, the Open Broadcaster Software training, the CTLA staff, I checked with everybody and none of us have used it. We may start because there's been more demand for it, but we do have somebody in TSS who teaches adjunct for us and uses it quite a bit.
Like
and
Curtis.
I wasn't going to out him. I wasn't going to, actually put his name out there until he agreed. But we're, trying to strong arm him into doing some training. So if it's something that you're interested in, we're going to see if we can get him to offer a workshop or at least an informational session. Yeah, I wasn't going to throw him under the bus.
Yeah,
but
you can bleep that out if you want in the recording.
Can the college pay for Snagit or screencast-o-matic? I got to tell you guys, I wouldn't be asking the college to pay for anything because I just don't know where the budget is. We hear talk about budget cuts and that kind of thing. So I think it's unlikely, but both of those softwares are very inexpensive. Snagit is $29 for a one-time license, and that's without their current discount. So they have the 25% discount going on right now. Screencast-o-matic, they just added another tier, like a higher paid tier. But as far as I know, there's free, and then there's $15 a year, which comes with editing capabilities. Among other things, I think it also has captioning, which Juliet says works with. And that, to me, another benefit of screencast-o-matic. I know, not throwing people under the bus, but Juliet is so good with screencast-o-matic that she would be able to help if you were just learning it. So those are both extremely inexpensive, $15 to $30. So again, you might be able to pay for it out of supply money. You might be able to get the division to pay for it. If that's of interest to you, that may be a route to go if you can't afford just one more thing on your own.
Snagit is probably, when you figure out the amount of times that you use it, wouldn't you say it's probably the best?
I use Snagit for so much.
Hi,
In fact,
I have a subscription to Screencast-o-matic, and I have for years. I actually got grandfathered into one of their crazy cheap rates.
right.
And I use Screencast-o-matic all the time. Like, it's totally worth it. I think I'm doing the 30 every 2 years, something crazy like that. But I'm so glad you sent the email regarding Snagit, because that's going to be on my to-do purchase list this afternoon.
Well, good. And I mean, I use so much of it for
Everything.
For everything. For handouts, like even Santa here, I made the Bitmoji, but I was able to easily make the background transparent to use it in other stuff by putting it in Snagit and just filling in the background as transparent.
And I love those one-time fees that you're not paying like every year.
I'd rather have a license than a subscription.
Yeah.
The other questions on here. So we answered the OBS. We talked about Snagit and Screencast-o-matic. And then there was, hey, I'd like to see comparison of tablets, of cameras, of my... I figured we weren't going to have time for that really today. So I did pull some articles on each of those. So when you go to this slide, each of these images is a PDF that you can go to that's got 3 or 4 review articles on different kinds of tablets, 3 or 4 review articles on, and I'm assuming this meant webcams, not like cameras. And maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully somebody will just ask us later if that's the case. And then microphones and headsets. Now, these reviews really are about headsets. Kali, when you see her slide today, had her recommendation for a freestanding microphone for recording. So these resources will be here for you if you want to check those items out later. Which brings us to our last letter from Santa.
Or to Santa. Dear Santa, I want some sort of screencasting tool to work on a Chromebook.
And this is actually a little redundant because we just talked about these things. But again, I just Googled the screencast tool for Chromebook. And there's an October 2020 best free screen recorder for Chromebook screencasting. And guess which one? Screencast-o-matic. Screencast-ify, which is a Chrome extension. It has to be used inside Chrome, and I think it has a 5-minute limit on it, but it's definitely free. And then Loom, which I love them basically because when COVID hit, they said, you know what, we're making Loom free, the Loom Pro account free forever to all educators. We're not going to change it back when, life gets back to normal. We are going to keep it free for educators forever and ever. At least as long as they're around. Hopefully they don't go out of business because all the educators are taking advantage of them. That's available either as a Chrome extension, or you can use it from their website, or you can download a desktop version. So all of these are either free or have a free version. And I know Zoila said that she has the subscription to Screencast-o-matic, but I get a lot of mileage out of it even with the free version. I don't know what features you use, Zoila, that I'm not getting, but I know they have editing with the paid version that I don't have.
I pay for it too. The reason I use it is because if you are screencasting slides and you have video embedded in slides, even just like a short, it doesn't pick up audio on the free version, and the next level up will collect that audio as well. So yeah, for the few slides that I have maybe a 30-second audio clip in them, it will pick up the audio.
So I don't know, do you guys have any other recommendations for Chromebook users, or if this is basically what you're using? So I already said you use Screencast-o-matic. I've tried Screencast-ify. I've used Loom. I use Snagit as my screencasting tool, actually, because it doesn't just do still shots. It doesn't just do screenshots. It does screencasting as well.
I think my husband uses that for chemistry. So what he does is that he connects the Chromebook to his laptop, and he writes and does all of that, and whatever is on the laptop gets recorded. He doesn't directly records the Chromebook. He basically connects it to the laptop. He uses it to handwrite the formulas or all of the stuff that he needs to, and then records via Zoom.
I'll tell you the one thing I learned by looking at those How to Make a Khan Academy style on Saturday. I went, what? When did this happen? Is that there's now on your iPad or your iPhone, under your settings, there's a screen recorder option. So if you have your iPad and you have a stylus or your Apple Pencil, which I do, you can screen record anything, which you didn't used to be able to do. You used to have to get a mirroring software that would then project it to your laptop and do the screen recording from your laptop. And apparently now you can just straight up screen record. So I learned it from YouTube. Jen learned it, coincidentally enough,
from my 11-year-old daughter. Yeah, she's like, Mom, why don't you just screencast that? So we both came over the weekend and said, hey, new tool, something cool that we just found out. And it was the same thing.
Right.
But, yeah.
Two different sources, but it was the same thing. Which takes us to the end of the letters, but brings us to our CTLA staff recommendations.
We each went through and said, what are some of our favorite, whether it be like a stocking stuffer, a tech toy, tool, tip, or app or something. So we want to start with Jeremy's, and he has this software that he uses, or this app that he uses called Barrier. And it sounds absolutely lovely. Mary and I just learned about it today, so we're going to check into it. But it allows you to take your mouse and keyboard and switch between not just screens, but also multiple devices. So the link right there to the Barrier is right there, and it shows you how to download it, shows some information about it, but it allows you to take, and I know I sometimes have two computers going with two different keyboards and two different, mice, and it just allows you to connect all of that. So I'm definitely going to check that out.
All right, I'd like to show you how to access and set up a very simple application that is very helpful for productivity when working from home on multiple devices. The application is called Barrier, and it's a free open source app that you can download from GitHub. I'm going to show you how to get that. And what it does, Barrier allows you to control multiple computers on your network with one keyboard and mouse. And I'm going to demonstrate that for you here. So the easiest way to get there is to simply Google for Barrier KVM. And that will take you to the GitHub link. And when you land on the GitHub page, you'll see there are several folders and files, all part of the development and the package. If you continue to scroll down on this screen, it'll give you a little bit of a description, and then you'll find the place where you get to the distributions. But if you see this link right here under Barrier, it's at about the middle of the page. Find releases for Windows and Mac OS. There's already a package for you if you're running Windows or Mac. So I'm going to click that link. It's going to take me to the distribution page. So you scroll down to the new stable release portion of the page, and then click the arrow to expand the assets. And you'll see we have a Barrier release 2.3.2. That's a DMG file. So for those of you like me running on a Mac, you would want the DMG file. You could also pull down the source and compile it yourself if you wanted to, but it's easier to just grab the DMG if you're Mac, or the EXE version if you're on Windows. So go ahead and click whichever one is appropriate for your system, download it, and then run the installer, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's installed. All right, so once you have Barrier installed on all the devices that you want to have share the same keyboard and mouse, there's a very simple setup process. So as you can see here, I have Barrier. This is on my main device, so the device that has my keyboard and mouse connected to it. So this is going to act as the server. And you can see that I just check the server box and check the Configure Interactively button. And I don't have to worry about anything else after that. It automatically creates the SSL fingerprint and pulls down the IP address, and you can see that this is a 192 IP, so this is internal to my network, and I can see that Barrier is running. One setting to adjust is the orientation of your devices. So in order to do that, you can click on Configure Server on the server device, and then you can notice that it brings up this layout, and you can then move devices, just drag and drop them. This is how you tell the Barrier application where your devices are arranged, so that when you move the mouse in the direction you would like to move it from one device or from one screen to the other, it knows which way you want it to go. And then I'm going to switch over to the other computer, so I just mouse right over as if I was moving from one display to the other. And you can see here that Barrier is now running And I have the server boxes unchecked because this is the secondary machine. This is the client. So I have the client box checked here, and I have auto config checked. When I have configure interactively enabled on the server device, that's all I need to do. It will automatically detect any clients on the network and set it up, and you can see the mouse pointer moves back and forth pretty seamlessly over the network, and you can use this over multiple machines. So it makes it really handy when you have multiple machines that you want to control and you don't want to have to use multiple keyboards and mice.
His other product there is a cool speaker that Mary's husband just also happens to have. So it's a great, durable, waterproof speaker, Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, we take it on road trips because our cars are too old to actually have, Bluetooth with their amps. And I have so many things. I actually just went back through my Amazon orders from this past year. So if you're looking for something for anybody, or if you're interested in any of these, we have all price categories. I actually going to start on the right because two of the things that I've been using a lot is my external drive, because as you make more and more video for your classes, it takes up more space on your work machine. So I make sure that I back all of those up and back my whole computer up on an external drive, because you can get, this is, I think maybe 2 terabytes was under $75, but you can get a 4 terabyte drive for about $100. Mm-hmm. And then for $50 or $60, you can actually buy in the lower right-hand corner, the big green screen setup with the frame. So I've been working with Matt Fisher, and we've been working with a bunch of faculty and recording on campus, and he just keeps this folded up in his office in the pouch, and on the days we're going to record, he pulls it out and we go into the classroom and he sets it up and people record. So it's been $50 well spent on my end. In the middle here, under the $50 is more of the fun stuff. I have this tiny little radio Bluetooth speaker that I'll use, and like I said, it's just for fun. It's not necessarily productivity. I just like the way that it looks and it makes me happy, which can be more productive. And then the gimbal is motion activated. So if you are in a classroom or at home and you're doing lecture, if you are recording with your phone, it'll track you. So as you move, it's going to rotate and your phone's going to move while you're filming. And then on my lower end, my favorite technology is actually my colored pens. So my Statler pens. And then just recently, I got this gooseneck phone holder because I will occasionally, like if I'm doing drawings, I will record that and then I'll speed it up in a video that I'm doing. So you could even use that sort of thing as like a document camera, to do work. You can have your phone over your shoulder as you're writing if you wanted to. So that may be another possibility for the problem solving on paper. Any of these on here, I have included the links to them behind the image. Yep. So like if you click on the gimbal, it's going to take you out to their website. If you click on the radio, it'll take you to Amazon. So if you had any interest in looking at any of those, you can just click on them and go. And then my pricier items, because I work exclusively on my laptop, I thought this looked like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It is an extra slide out screen. So it's a screen extender for those of you who work heavily on laptops, and you can take it with you instead of carrying a huge monitor with you. So I don't know if anybody else sees this and goes, wow, I didn't know we could do that. But that's what I said.
Okay, you want to talk low tech? My 2 favorite things on the planet are so low tech. One is the little light ring, very inexpensive on Amazon. I'm doing them for stocking stuffers this year for my kiddos as well. $12, and it really does help with the lighting if you're not sitting by a natural light by window. There's typically 3 settings of light, so you can boost it depending on. I don't typically use this when I'm doing live sessions, but anytime you're doing recording, sometimes the light is really funky. I tend to record a lot at night, so super inexpensive, really easy to use. It's just battery operated. It clips right on the top of your computer, and you can adjust the light settings as you go. My other favorite thing is the laptop stand. I love this one in particular because it has got space underneath it, so I typically put my cell phone on a little mount underneath it, so I've got my cell phone closed, so you can put books underneath it. It's just enough slant and it comes apart, so I throw it in my backpack and I come over to Mary's house and we work. So inexpensive,
I
but
saw hers and I immediately bought one. So I have that because I had it stacked on top of books before to keep it high enough, but this does allow that space underneath. And again, if you click on either of these images, it will take you out to Amazon. And just so you know, I tried to include the pricing to give you a ballpark on these images, but this is the price on whatever day I did the screenshot, because a couple of days ago they were having a Black Friday special on Jen's stand, so it was $23, and I just checked before our session today and it's back to $29.99. There are other stands that are less expensive, but you'll have to decide if you like the ergonomics of them or not.
Roja says, love the screen slider. I know, I do too. I think
Me
that
too.
might be my big ticket item for this year. And Zoila says she has 2 of those laptop stands. Love them. I love the little angle too. It's
Right.
the perfect angle when you're working off a laptop. Juliet has some favorites here as well. And I'm going to check out this Logitech wireless headset. So I love that it's wireless. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to look into that. Certainly that convertible standing desk, we're all doing a lot of sitting, so being able to stand up every once in a while. I know I switch out. I just have 4 chairs that we rotate between. One is a therapy ball, but still I'm sitting. So I just take my laptop and move it in different locations all over the house, but my husband would probably appreciate if I got a desk and stayed in one room rather than dragging stuff everywhere. Again, screencast-o-matic comes up again and again and again. And here's this school activity for learning HTML. So it's got some great sessions for if you want to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, I had never heard of it. I had to Google W3 Schools HTML, but Juliet is very much an advocate for people learning more HTML and understanding what's going on the back end. I think that it helps some with accessibility as well to have an understanding of some of that. If you click on that W3 Schools link, it'll take you out to their website if you're curious and you want to take a look.
And as always, YouTube and Weebly, great apps as well. We talked to Leslie and we said, what is your favorite tech tool? And she's like, my smartphone.
Right, it's my phone.
I'm using it for everything. So she has an Android, so she uses an app called Cam Scanner and really likes that. She's in the process of purchasing a new home, so it downloads them to PDFs. Really a great tool to use. I have an iPhone, Mary, and I have iPhone, so I just simply go in the notes section. Here's just a little, it's difficult to say here, but you click on the notes section, the camera, and you can take a picture and that automatically converts it into a scanned document. So you've got that feature right on your iPhone without having to download an app. I use that as well all the time.
And I think that also takes the distortion out. So even if you have the paper, if you have a document on the table and you take a picture of it, so you get that weird perspective thing, it'll adjust that and just turn it into a flat PDF for you.
Nice. Bill also says Logitech sells an inexpensive headset with a USB connector for under $75. And screencast-o-matic editor is very easy to use. Yeah, thank you.
And Bill, I think if you were to look at the headset review that we had on the previous slide, I want to say Logitech was in several of them. I had looked for articles that specifically said best headsets for educators. And I think that Logitech one popped up more than once.
Zoila says students use the CAM scanner to scan their problem sets and upload to me for a grade. So I love that. Always giving students the free option and the tools to do what we're asking them to do. So yeah, it's really handy features that sometimes your cell phone's your best. And I think our students a lot of them are doing class, writing papers. They're like trying to do school on their cell phones, but there really is so much we can do with them.
I guess it pays. I never pay attention. They always say, hey, we're updating your phone tonight. And I'm going, yeah, whatever. And I didn't see, well, these are the features that are being updated. Or I might have noticed the screen recorder sooner. I noticed over the weekend when I went to try to scan something with my camera on my phone that's no longer the default. You go into settings and say whether you want it to be able to pick up QR codes or not. So stuff like that, I guess I should be paying more attention so that I can make the most of the tech that I have instead of constantly being on Amazon.
And Collie's favorite for recording is the Yeti recording microphone. So she likes this one a lot. I haven't checked it out. A lot of people use the Snowball. I have just been using the one that comes with my laptop. So I maybe upping my game and getting a better microphone,
Yeah.
but this tends to be one of her favorites.
Well, this one, and it looks like this one runs about $130. The Snowball I looked at the other day was maybe like $50.
Okay.
So the Snowball is going to be less expensive than this, and it may have lower recording quality. I've certainly never done a side-by-side comparison. That would be interesting to grab the Snowball out of the CTLA and Kali's Yeti and my AT 2020 and see if they're really
Quality differences. Absolutely.
But I suspect for most of us, I remember there being research many years ago that said the students care a whole lot less about the production values than they do about the content and how you're delivering that. So I think they'd appreciate you having a better microphone, but I don't know if it matters so much if it's the $50 microphone or the $120 microphone.
Right.
So
I'd love to share Bill's comment too. It's going back to the cam scanner. He said in the past there's been some security issues with that. The high school his daughter's at only allows Adobe due to security issues with the cam scanner. So that's good to know as well from someone that's using it. So thank you for sharing that. I wasn't aware of that.
yeah, I have Microsoft Office Lens on my app on my phone, which I was always using because I didn't realize that the notes could do the same thing. So it was also a free app. And I don't know if it's more secure. I would think if it's a Microsoft product, it probably would be. Oh, here's my husband all over the place.
Any other favorites from you guys that you'd like to share? The tech tools that you've got or things that you've got that help make this remote instruction better? A favorite tool, tip, or product?
I've just used screencast-o-matic religiously all semester long. And it's where I create my weekly review videos for my students. So I do have a limo studio, but a mini one, more because I take photos of Legos for my Lego theme in my statistics course. So I have a mini tabletop version of that, which I absolutely adore because he can have the green screen and do videos. And it actually came with 2 ring lights with stands. And so I can actually take one to my office and then use one when I'm actually using the laptop. So, but yeah, screencast-o-matic has been my best friend.
I actually love, as a program, we got some little cell phone stands just to have your cell phone stand up and at an angle. And I absolutely love that. It's silly. It's a little cell phone stand, but I put it right under my computer stand and I've got it there and accessible. It's tucked away, but I can see things as they're coming in or emails as they're coming in. So I've really liked just a simple little cell phone stand as well.
Well, I told Jen that if we had time, I was going to show I call it my office basket, because we have spent time in Napa Valley visiting Caroline, and we've spent a lot of time up in Pine Top working from there. So I have here, you can turn that to, I have my basket. Oh, goodness. Baby Yoda. And it's got like everything in it. So like my little Bluetooth speaker, if I want to listen to music again, this is my fun thing I have. So the one that looks like a little radio, but this is where I keep my computer. I haven't even tried this yet, my Remarkable tablet, which is supposed to be the most like writing on paper. It said this is like my Mary Poppins bag. Let's see what else I have. Usually my computer's in here, so I have my computer bag that actually looks like a book. Because I have the silliest things. I just at the craft store picked up a thing to hold all of my cords and chargers and my extra battery pack that I keep in here. So I just
that
have
also
this
doubles.
thing.
I have seen her use that as a laptop stand.
Yes, I have done that too. External drives, so that I have my backup for my computer. Oh, this is the new, I haven't tried it yet, but the new gooseneck stand for my phone that I'll be able to use. Oh, hand sanitizer. I have my pens. I have light ring with me. So I have the big one because Jen, I had to do your little one, right? Jen has the smaller one, but it was really inexpensive to get the larger light ring. So this came actually with a tripod for the ring itself. It came with a tripod for the camera. It's got a remote so that you can change your color settings, like to more natural lighting or the more blue lighting. Oh, one of my friends at Mesa, document camera, $69 on Amazon. So you can hook it up to your computer and feed that while you're working with your students, and you can record it. So tiny little document camera that you can use.
You send the information on the document camera, because that is the one thing I do miss when I'm doing stats.
Yes. Oh, here is your little light ring.
I am low tech, Mary is high tech. I will put this in the chat right now.
The saddest thing to me is that I have things in here that I haven't opened yet because we've been so busy. You know, I've got stuff where I'm like, this is going to be great and people are going to love this, and I haven't tried it yet. So if there's anything in my bag of tricks here that you want to know more about and I should put at the top of my priority list, then let me know. A flash drive that plugs right into my phone so I can download stuff to back it up for my phone. Headphones, the major headphone set that my husband's cast-offs, because he, in fact, is an engineer and now has the wireless Bose. I have the old ones that have wires attached. And then, of course, paper and pen. Right? I don't go anywhere without the colored pens, and I always have something to write with. So it actually holds an uncanny amount of stuff, and I can just pick the whole thing up and haul it with me.
I just found it is still $69.
My friend at Mesa teaches math, and she swears by it. She bought it last spring, and she used it to teach all summers with us, so she says it is fabulous.
I had a mini whiteboard, and I would do the math and then show it on the screen when I did office hours. And then when we got to easier, I don't want to say easier math, but when we got to higher level statistics, then I would just pull up the problem set on the shared screen, and then I would type in the answers because I had the equation editor already. But I would love a document. Oh, thank you. I just saw it. I'm going to look it up right now.
Okay. You know what? I so badly want a light board, but they're so expensive. But I saw somebody who teaches econ, a woman at one of the UCs, who made her own. So I okay, when I have some downtime, I'd like to see how it is she did that. Because I am, married to an engineer, and I have a brother-in-law who's an engineer. Surely somebody can build me a light board. What else, you guys?
Anybody find anything today that they're putting on their list, or any things that they are going to explore?
Well, document camera, clearly.
Yes. Into the document.
It's already in my cart. I will push.
You'll have it before you leave today.
Yeah, I will push purchase at the end of the day, because I always end up having to add a couple more things to the list, so I always wait till the end of the day to put it in. Plus, it's not even in stock until December 7th. So if I put it in now, at least it'll get here for next semester.
Thanks for joining us today, Bill.
And as ever, if you have questions or suggestions, or there was some tech you forgot about, or something we mentioned that you'd like to know more about, you can go to the LOL suggestion box. So bit.ly/LOL. Suggestion box is all lowercase. It is case sensitive. If you didn't catch the link earlier for a copy of today's slides, it's bit.ly/LOL-Dear Santa. So bit.ly/LOL Dear Santa for today's slides. And then I started doing my standard last slide about, we'll see you next week. And I went, oh man, this is it. We're going to see you guys in the spring of 2021.
Right. It's crazy how fast this semester has went.
And our last thing that we always ask, I know you guys needed your cameras off for the duration, but...
Anybody want to say hi?
That's right. Turn your cameras on for our last bit here.
Okay, hold on. Let me, I'm going to have to put my computer on sleep in order to switch over.
Okay.
Hold on.
Don't put your background. What's that called?
It's called Spheres.
Spheres. Okay. I love it.
Might be a little funkier.
Do you do that for your live online class?
Yeah. It's
Do
always
students love it?
Yeah. I think I'm the only one. No, there's like 2 other students who do it. Other than that, I see everybody's bedroom. Yeah.
Things you don't want to see, right?
You never know.
Zoila, it's so good to see you too. Zoila, I've missed you. Like, seriously, some of the best days were when you would come into the CTLA and walk, and it's like, whatever I got on my agenda, I'm just going to put away, so we could just talk, have that walk and talk time and think and brainstorm. And share as teachers. So
I miss the CTLA. Thank you so much for that. I miss all of you guys when I would walk in there. Hey B, can you stand up and say hello?
I want to see him.
He's got his.
Alrighty.
Nice.
Well, so good seeing you guys. Nice visiting. It's just always a treat. Love seeing you.